The scream cut through the dead silence of the night, piercing the darkness like a knife. Nkem stumbled through the thick forest, her heart hammering, hands trembling, clutching the tiny bundle wrapped in the coarse cloth she had found in the shrine. "It's mine now. Mine," she whispered fiercely, tears streaking her dust-smeared face. Behind her, the wind howled through the trees as though warning her, but she paid it no heed. Every step away from the shrine felt like a lifetime. Every snapping twig beneath her feet, a drumbeat of impending doom. She finally collapsed against a tree, gasping for breath, rocking the small child in her arms. "Please, please be mine. I've waited so long for you," she sobbed. The baby's eyes were closed, innocent, yet there was an odd chill in the air, an unnatural quiet that made her skin crawl. "You're mine, and nothing will take you from me," she whispered, pressing her cheek to the child's soft head. Nkem had always been desperate. 15 years of longing, 15 years of humiliation in her husband's family. Her mother-in-law's constant mutterings about curses, the snickers of the neighbors, the hushed gossip at the market stalls. All of it had built a fortress of shame around her heart. Her husband, once kind, had grown distant, frustrated and weary, tired of the empty cradle and the silent house. She had tried every remedy, every prayer, every herbal concoction whispered about in the village, but nothing had worked. Tonight, though, she had taken matters into her own hands. Earlier, she had heard the story again, whispered by a trembling old woman near the river. Sometimes the gods leave children at the shrine," the woman had said, her eyes darting around as if the forest itself could hear them. "They are gifts in Nkem, gifts for the worthy." The old woman had leaned close. "But beware. Some gifts are not meant for humans. Some carry curses that can destroy everything they touch." Nkem had only heard the first part. Hope had blinded her to caution. And now, clutching the baby, she felt an unsteady surge of victory and fear mingling in her chest. She had what she had always wanted, a child, but she also felt the weight of something ancient pressing against her. By dawn, she had reached the small hut at the edge of the village. The first light of morning broke through the thatched roof as she stumbled inside, still shaking. I have a child," she whispered to her husband, Igwe, who looked up from the fire, rubbing his eyes. What are you saying?" he asked, confusion warring with disbelief. I found her. At the shrine. She is ours now," Nkem said, holding the child out to him. The bundle stirred, opening wide, unblinking eyes that seemed too knowing, too deep for a mere infant. Igwe froze, staring, a shiver running down his spine. Where did you take her from?" he demanded. "The shrine," Nkem said softly. "I had no choice. You know I have prayed for years. The gods have finally answered me." Her voice was a mixture of triumph and desperation, as if she could convince herself of the truth. Igwe's hand shook as he reached for the child. "Nkem, this is dangerous. You shouldn't have gone there. You know the stories." His voice trailed off as the baby let out a sound that wasn't quite a cry, a low, echoing wail that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand. Nkem ignored him, brushing his hand away. "No, she is ours. I will not lose her. Not now. Not ever." The villagers noticed the change immediately. A crowd formed outside the small hut as rumors spread, whispers growing into a chorus. "Nkem, the barren woman. She has taken a child from the shrine," they murmured. Fear and fascination danced together in their eyes. Children peeked from behind doors. Elders muttered prayers, and some crossed themselves, whispering that Nkem had invited a curse upon the village. But Nkem's joy was unshakable, at least at first. She named the baby Shisom and spent hours cradling her, singing lullabies she had longed to sing for so many years. Nights were spent rocking the child, whispering promises she had never thought she would make, her tears falling onto Chisholm's small hands. "I will protect you no matter what," she whispered, stroking the baby's soft hair. "I will fight anyone, any spirit, for you." It was not long before strange things began. Animals refused to enter her compound. Chickens and goats, usually friendly, scattered and hissed when the baby was near. Dogs whined at the door, refusing to come inside, and sometimes howled toward the forest as if sensing an unseen threat. And Nkem noticed it but dismissed it, saying, "They don't understand. They cannot know what love is." One evening, her sister-in-law, Ada, came to visit, bringing vegetables from the market. She gasped at the sight of the baby. "Nkem, her eyes, they are not right. Look at them." Chisholm's gaze, wide and unblinking, followed Ada wherever she moved. She watches too much," Ada whispered.
Nkem clenched her fist. "Do not speak such things. She is a gift from the gods. Do you think I would harm her? Do you dare insult her, or insult me?" Her voice shook, but her pride burned hotter than any fear. Ada, afraid, backed away slowly. Days passed, and the unease grew. Crops around Nkem's home began to wilt. Her neighbors whispered about bad luck following her, and some claimed to have seen shadows lingering around the hut at night. Egui tried to reason with her. "Nkem, maybe we should return her, perhaps the stories were right. Perhaps we've brought a curse upon ourselves." "No," she snapped, shaking her head violently. "I will not. I have waited too long, prayed too long. She is mine. I will not give her back." Her voice echoed through the empty hut, a mix of love, fear, and defiance. As the tension escalated, even Chisholm seemed different. At night, she would wake, gazing at the shadows that crept along the walls, cooing softly to figures no one else could see. Nkem tried to comfort her, whispering lullabies, yet a cold dread always lingered in her chest. It felt as though unseen eyes were watching, judging, waiting. One night, Egui could no longer bear it. "Nkem, we cannot hide from this. Something is coming. Something we cannot fight. Please, return her." Nkem's hands were clenched around the child, eyes blazing. "You do not understand. I have suffered for too long, humiliated for too long. I will not let the gods punish me for finally daring to take what is mine." Just then, a wind gusted through the hut, extinguishing the lanterns. Shadows stretched and twisted along the walls. Chisholm's soft cry changed into a low, eerie wail that reverberated through the wooden beams. Nkem froze, her heart pounding. Something, or someone, was at the door. A voice, deep and resonant, seemed to come from the walls themselves. "Who dares take what belongs to the shrine?" Nkem clutched the child tightly, trembling. I needed. I wanted her, she is mine," she shouted. Tears streaming down her face. "I have waited. I have prayed, do not take her." The voice rumbled again, shaking the hut. "You have broken the seal. You have taken a child that was never meant for humans. Prepare, for the curse you have invited shall follow you, and your village, until the debt is paid." Egui grabbed Nkem's shoulders, shaking her. "Do you hear it? Do you understand? We must return her. Now. Or everything will be destroyed." Nkem shook her head violently, her tears mixing with sweat. "No. I cannot. I will not give her back." She pressed Chisholm close to her chest, sobbing, her body racked with fear and stubborn love. "She is mine. Mine. No one will take her from me." Suddenly, the hut shook violently, and the walls seemed to ripple. Chisholm's wail became a chorus of strange, echoing voices, both human and not. The wind outside tore at the roof and flung debris across the yard. Egui screamed, holding Nkem tightly. If we do not return her, all of this, the village, our lives, everything, will be lost. Nkem's resolve faltered. The first tendrils of fear touched her heart, mingling with her fierce love. She looked down at the child, whose eyes now glimmered with something beyond innocence, something ancient, powerful, and terrifying. Her chest heaved as she whispered, "Chisholm, forgive me. Please, forgive me." The storm outside continued, shadows leaping like demons along the walls. Nkem knew, deep in her bones, that there was no turning back, and the moment of reckoning had arrived. Dawn broke over the village, but it brought no relief. Birds refused to sing, and a thick fog clung to the ground as if hiding the world from the consequences of Nkem's actions. Egui led her through the silent streets, clutching Chisholm tightly, while neighbors peeked from behind doors, eyes wide with fear. Whispers had already spread, "The barren woman has stolen from the shrine, the spirits are angry." Nkem felt the weight of their gazes. Shame and defiance warred within her chest. "We have to return her," Egui said again, his voice trembling. "This is not about desire, this is about survival. The priestess, she will know what to do." "No." Nkem snapped, spinning to face him, her eyes blazing. "You think I will let the gods punish me after everything I've suffered? Do you hear me? I've waited 15 years for this. I will not, cannot, lose her." Tears streamed down her face. She pressed Chisholm closer, rocking her gently. "Do you understand, Egui? She is mine." Egui's face hardened, but there was sorrow in his eyes. "And if your love destroys us all? What will you do then?" Before she could answer, the wind picked up, carrying a chill that made the hairs on their necks rise. Chisholm's small body stiffened in Nkem's arms. The baby's eyes snapped open, unblinking, glowing faintly in the morning mist. A low hum vibrated through the air, almost like voices whispering from deep underground. Nkem's stomach turned. A villager, an old man named Obi, stepped forward from the mist, trembling. "Nkem, you have done something terrible. The shrine, it is not a place for humans to take from. What you hold, it is not a gift." Nkem glared at him. "And what would you have me do, old man? Stand there, waiting while my life empties of hope? She is mine. Do you hear me? Mine." Her voice cracked as she sobbed. Obi shook his head. "The gods do not work like that. That child, she is part of something ancient, something that keeps darkness at bay. By taking her, you've broken the balance. The spirits are awake now. Your village, everyone, is in danger." Egui pulled Nkem aside. "See. Even he knows. We must act, or it will be too late." Nkem stared at Chisholm. The baby cooed softly, but the sound seemed to carry an echo, a strange resonance that made her skin crawl. She wanted to fight it, wanted to deny it, but fear crept into her heart, threading through the layers of desperation. That evening, they approached the priestess, Mama Ifioma, a woman whose presence commanded both reverence and fear. She lived at the edge of the village, a small hut surrounded by herbs and strange symbols carved into the ground. As they entered, Mama Ifioma's eyes widened at the sight of Chisholm. "So," the priestess said slowly, her voice calm but heavy, "the seal has been broken." Nkem's hands trembled. I didn't know. I wanted a child," her voice cracked. "I have suffered so long. I just wanted her." Mama Ifioma stepped closer, her gaze sharp and piercing. "Desire is not sin, Nkem, but actions have consequences. That child, she was never meant for human hands. She was placed at the shrine as part of an ancient covenant. She held back something terrible. And now," the priestess's eyes darkened. Now the barrier is gone. Igwe felt panic rise like a tidal wave. What will happen? The priestess's gaze moved to Chisholm. The baby's eyes shimmered unnaturally, reflecting colors that did not belong to the world. The spirit that was sealed has begun to stir. It will come for the child first, then everything else. Nkem's chest tightened. I can't give her back. I won't. Mama Ifeoma shook her head. You have no choice. The longer she remains with you, the stronger the curse grows. You will not survive it, and neither will the village. The wind whipped outside, rattling the windows and sending shadows racing across the walls. Chisholm let out a high, eerie wail that seemed to resonate with the wind itself. Nkem clutched her tighter. Please. No, not now, please, she whispered, rocking the baby. Her tears fell freely, blending fear, love, and regret. Igwe grabbed her shoulder. Nkem. Listen to her. We don't have time to argue. If you truly love her, if you truly care, you must let her go. It is the only way to save her, and us. For a long moment, Nkem remained frozen, staring at the child. Then, trembling, she finally nodded. Her lips quivered. All right. We will return her. Mama Ifeoma took a deep breath and led them to the forest. Shadows from the trees stretched unnaturally, as though reaching for them. The closer they got to the shrine, the heavier the air became. The forest itself seemed alive, whispering warnings in voices only the wind could carry. When they reached the shrine, the sight stole their breath. Candles flickered, casting an eerie glow on ancient carvings that pulsed faintly with energy. The stone pedestal where Chisholm had been placed now hummed with power. Nkem knelt, setting the child gently down. Chisholm's small eyes looked up at her, unblinking, as if aware of everything. I am sorry, Nkem whispered. I never meant. I only wanted to love you. Chisholm's eyes seemed to glimmer with recognition, almost intelligence beyond her age. Then the baby emitted a soft, melodic sound, like a song that threaded through the forest itself. The wind stilled, and the shadows paused. Mama Ifeoma stepped forward, chanting quietly, her voice low and resonant. The carvings glowed brighter, and the pedestal seemed to pulse with life. Slowly, Chisholm's body began to rise, surrounded by a soft light. Nkem shielded her eyes from the glow, trembling. Suddenly, the light collapsed into a burst of energy, and when it cleared, Chisholm was gone. In her place stood a figure, tall, ethereal, its eyes like liquid fire. It was neither child nor human. It radiated power, and the air around it shimmered with an otherworldly intensity. You have broken the seal, it said, its voice echoing like thunder and whispers at once. You dared to take what was never yours. Nkem fell to her knees, clutching Igwe's hand. Please, forgive me. I only wanted. Her voice broke. The spirit's gaze swept over the village, the forest, and finally rested on her. The balance is broken, but your heart is true. Your love was pure, though misguided. The debt will not be paid in blood this time. The figure raised its hand, and the air shimmered once more. Chisholm appeared again, cradled safely in the ethereal light, then gently set back on the pedestal. The glow faded, and the forest fell silent. Nkem wept openly, relief and exhaustion washing over her. Chisholm, my sweet Chisholm, she whispered. Mama Ifeoma placed a hand on her shoulder. Remember, Nkem, desire is powerful, but it can blind you. Never take what is not meant for you again. Igwe embraced her, whispering, we have learned, Nkem. We have survived, together. Nkem nodded, tears still streaming. Her heart ached with the memory of fear, the thrill of hope, and the lesson of humility. She looked at the village, at the neighbors watching from a distance, and then to the forest where shadows still lingered. Chisholm, she said softly, pressing her hand to the child's small head. You are ours, but you are also a gift we do not fully understand. We will honor you, always. Mama Ifeoma spoke again, her voice carrying over the still forest. Let this be a lesson to all. Love can save, but love taken through desperation can summon curses. Guard your hearts, guard your actions. The villagers slowly exhaled as the tension lifted. Life would return, but the memory of that night, the broken seal, the spirit, the wailing child, would linger forever. And somewhere, deep within the shrine, the energy pulsed faintly, a reminder that some things are never meant to be taken. The night after Chisholm's return to the shrine, the village felt different. Even the stars seemed to flicker nervously in the sky, and a cold wind whispered through the empty streets. Nkem could not sleep. She sat outside her hut, holding Egwi's hand, staring into the darkness as memories of the previous night replayed in her mind. The ethereal figure, Chisholm's glow, the voice, everything felt alive in her heart, and yet terrifying. Do you think it's really over? Egwi asked, his voice low. He rubbed his face tiredly, exhaustion and fear etched into every line. Nkem shook her head slowly. I don't know. I feel it still. Something is waiting, something watching us. Her voice trembled. Chisholm, she's different now. I can feel it in her. She isn't just a child anymore. Egwi squeezed her hand tightly. We survived, Nkem. That's what matters. The priestess. Mama Ifeoma, she will guide us. Everything will be fine. But the next morning brought no peace. Crops in neighboring compounds began to wither overnight. Livestock fell ill. The wind carried strange whispers, almost voices, that made the villagers shiver. The elders gathered immediately, fear tightening their faces into masks of horror. Obi, the old man, approached Nkem and Egwi with trembling steps. It begins, he said, his voice cracking. The curse, it is spreading. By taking Chisholm, the balance was disturbed. The spirits are restless, and they will not stop until the debt is repaid. Nkem's chest tightened. I thought returning her to the shrine would fix it. Mama Ifeoma, she said it would be enough. Her voice broke as tears streaked her cheeks. I did everything right. Obi shook his head slowly. Returning her was necessary, yes. But the seal was weakened. It would take more than that to restore balance. You must understand, Nkem, what you took was not yours. And the spirits, they remember everything. That night, Chisholm awoke before dawn. Her eyes glimmered in the dark, reflecting faint lights that did not exist in the hut. Nkem, sitting nearby, watched as the baby babbled softly, a voice too melodious, too deliberate for a child of her age. It was almost as though she was speaking in riddles meant only for those who could understand the forest. Chisholm, my baby, Nkem whispered, leaning close. What is happening to you? The baby turned her head slowly, eyes locking onto Nkem's. Mama, fear, she said in a voice that was not quite human. Nkem shivered violently. Egwi woke and came to her side. Did she just speak? His voice was barely a whisper, full of disbelief and fear. Yes, Nkem whispered. She is different. Something lives in her now. Her hands trembled as she reached out to touch the child, feeling an eerie warmth pulsing beneath the skin. The wind rose suddenly, rattling the doors and windows. Shadows from the forest crept closer to the village, and a low hum vibrated in the ground. Nkem and Egwi stood frozen, staring at Chisholm, who laughed softly, a sound both innocent and terrifying. I knew she would come for me, Chisholm whispered, her voice barely audible over the wind. The one who broke the seal, she must pay. Nkem's hands trembled as she held the child closer. No, it's me. It's my fault. Her voice choked as tears fell. Egui grabbed her shoulders. We have to act, Nkem. We cannot wait. If we do nothing, the village, everyone we love, will suffer. By sunrise, the villagers gathered around Nkem's hut, faces pale and eyes wide with fear. Mama Ifioma arrived, her robes flowing, her presence commanding. It is worse than we feared, she said grimly. The spirits are angry. Chisem, the child, she carries the power that was meant to keep darkness sealed. That power is unstable. If we do not act, the village, all of this, will be consumed. Nkem's heart clenched. I don't know what to do, she cried. I just wanted her. I didn't I know. Mama Ifeoma's gaze softened slightly. You acted out of love, yes. But love alone cannot undo what was broken. You must face the consequences. You must journey to the heart of the forest with the child and perform the ritual to restore the seal. It will be dangerous, perhaps the most dangerous act of your life. Nkem swallowed hard, glancing at Egui. I will do it. For her, for the village, for everyone. Egui nodded, taking her hand. We will do it together, Nkem. Whatever comes, we face it as one. The forest seemed darker than ever when they arrived. Shadows twisted between the trees like living things. The path to the shrine was treacherous, roots and stones clawing at their feet. Every sound, the cracking of a twig, the rustle of leaves, set Nkem's nerves on edge. Chisem's small hand gripped hers tightly, but the glow in her eyes made the child feel larger than life, filled with ancient energy. I don't know if I can do this, Nkem whispered, trembling. I love her too much. Egui kissed her forehead. Sometimes love is not enough, Nkem. But courage will guide us. When they reached the shrine, the air thickened with energy. Candles lit themselves, the carvings pulsed faintly, and the stone pedestal glowed with a light that seemed to come from another world. Chisem cooed softly, her voice harmonizing with the hum of the shrine. Mama Ifeoma appeared suddenly beside them, chanting low and resonant words. Place her carefully on the pedestal. Speak the words I taught you. Balance must be restored, or all will be lost. Nkem knelt, hands shaking, and set Chisem down. The child looked at her, eyes wide and glowing, almost as if she understood the gravity of the moment. Nkem whispered, her voice breaking, I am sorry, Chisem, for taking you, for risking everything. Please, forgive me. Chisem reached out a tiny hand, touching Nkem's cheek. I know. Mama. Her voice was faint, fragile, yet ancient, resonating through the forest. Mama Ifeoma's chant rose louder, echoing through the trees. The pedestal shone brightly, and energy surged around them. The shadows twisted violently, as if resisting the ritual. Nkem and Egui held each other, shielding Chisem, their hearts pounding. Suddenly, a violent gust threw them to the ground. The air pulsed with power, almost tearing their lungs. Nkem held onto Chisem tightly, her tears falling onto the child's small head. I will not fail you, she whispered. I swear it. The ground beneath the pedestal cracked, light bursting upward, illuminating the trees and the mist. Chisem's glow intensified, a wave of energy radiating outward. Nkem and Egui shielded their eyes. The sound was deafening, a mix of wind, whispers, and voices from deep within the earth. Then, silence. Chisem was still. The pedestal no longer glowed, the carvings faded. The shadows retreated into the forest. Nkem's chest heaved as she looked down at the child. Chisem smiled softly, blinking innocently, as if nothing had happened. Mama Ifeoma stepped forward, her face solemn. It is done, for now. The seal is restored, but the balance is delicate. Nkem, remember this always. The spirits forgive, but they do not forget. Respect the boundaries, always. Nkem knelt, holding Chisholm close. Thank you for helping us. Igwe wrapped his arms around them both, whispering, we survived, together. We will never forget this night. The villagers, who had watched from the edge of the forest, erupted in relief and quiet tears. Life would continue, but the memory of the ordeal, the danger, and the child's otherworldly power would never fade. And somewhere, deep in the shrine, the faint glow pulsed, a reminder that some forces are eternal, and some gifts come with a price. The next morning, Nkem awoke to an uneasy calm. The wind had quieted, the mist lifted slightly, but the forest still seemed alive with a subtle hum, like the heartbeat of something ancient. Chisholm slept peacefully in her arms, yet Nkem could feel the faint pulse of power beneath her tiny chest, a reminder of what had happened. Igwe stood beside her, exhaustion clear on his face. Do you think it's really over? He asked, voice hoarse. Nkem shook her head slowly. I don't know. I hope so. But I feel different. We all feel different. Her hand tightened around Chisholm. She's still a gift, but a dangerous one. By mid-morning, the villagers gathered again, drawn by curiosity, fear, and relief. Whispers ran through the crowd. The child, the curse, it has ended. She survived. The forest, it's quiet. Obi, the old man, approached, leaning on his staff. His eyes, though clouded with age, held a sharpness that cut through the tension. The spirits have accepted the ritual, he said slowly. For now. But remember, Nkem, what you've done, it is a story that will be told for generations. The power she holds, it is not just yours to claim. Nkem knelt, tears falling freely. I understand. I will never forget. I will honor her, always. Suddenly, Chisholm stirred, her eyes opening wide. But instead of the eerie glow of before, they shimmered softly, warm and gentle. She gurgled, a sound that brought a fragile, human smile to Nkem's face. Igwe lifted the child gently, marveling at how ordinary she seemed now. She's safe, he whispered, almost in disbelief. She's really safe. But the relief was short-lived. From the edge of the forest, a faint, chilling laughter echoed, a sound that was not entirely human. Shadows flickered along the tree line, curling and twisting like dark smoke. Nkem froze, heart hammering. It's not over, is it? She whispered. Mama Ifioma appeared behind them, her presence steady, commanding. Nothing involving the spirits is ever truly over, she said. But you have proven yourself. You acted out of love, not greed. You returned what was not yours and restored the balance, at great personal cost. That is why the village stands, why the curse does not consume you now. Nkem fell to her knees, overwhelmed. I was so afraid. I loved her so much, but I didn't know. I didn't understand. Mama Ifioma placed a hand on her shoulder. Love can guide you, Nkem, but it can also blind you. Never again take what does not belong to you. Remember this always. Chisholm reached up and touched Nkem's cheek. Mama, no fear, she cooed softly, her tiny voice full of warmth. It was the first purely human sound from the child since they had begun this journey. Nkem laughed through her tears, clutching her daughter close. The villagers began to relax, slowly emerging from their homes, offering timid smiles and greetings. The tension that had gripped the village for days began to lift. Children ran and played, and the animals that had fled returned to their pens. Life was returning to normal, but everyone knew it would never be quite the same. Nkem and Igwe returned to their hut, finally able to breathe. Chisholm lay nestled between them, her tiny hands clutching Nkem's finger. You're safe now, little one, Nkem whispered. I promise, nothing will harm you again. Igwe nodded, pressing a gentle kiss to her temple. We survived, Nkem. Together. We faced the spirits, the curse, everything. And we are still here. That night, Nkem sat outside her hut again, staring at the stars. The wind was calm, the shadows no longer threatening. Chisholm slept quietly in her arms, her chest rising and falling like a fragile promise. Nkem closed her eyes and whispered a prayer of gratitude, tears still streaking her face. "Thank you," she murmured. "Thank you for letting me love her, even when I was wrong. Thank you for showing me the cost of desire, and the power of humility." Egui sat beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "We will tell her this story one day," he said softly. "She will grow up knowing the strength of our love, and the lesson of the shrine." The forest behind them was quiet now, but faint whispers lingered in the wind, reminders of the unseen word that always watched. The villagers slept more soundly than they had in weeks, yet in their dreams, they remembered the night when shadows came, and a barren woman dared to take what was never hers. Nkem looked down at Chisholm once more, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. "You are our gift, and our responsibility. I will protect you, always." Mama Ifioma appeared silently beside them, smiling faintly. "The spirits forgive, but they do not forget. Teach her well. Love her wisely. Respect the boundaries. That is all they ask." Nkem nodded solemnly. "I will. I swear it." Egui squeezed her hand, his own tears glistening in the faint starlight. "And together, we will make it right." As the village settled into uneasy peace, the forest seemed to watch, ever vigilant. Some things were best left untouched, some power never to be claimed by human hands, but tonight, balance had returned. And in the small hut at the edge of the village, a barren woman had learned that love, courage, and humility were the greatest powers of all. Before we close this tale, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below to share what you would have done if faced with the shrine's curse. Trust me, the story of Nkem and Chisholm will be remembered forever, and you won't want to miss our next adventure into the supernatural. The wind rustled softly through the trees, and for the first time in many nights, it felt like a gentle sigh of relief. Nkem sat back, holding her daughter close. And for the first time, truly felt the quiet joy of hope fulfilled, not through taking, but through courage, love, and respect for the forces beyond her understanding. And somewhere, deep in the shrine, faint light shimmered, a subtle reminder that the world is alive with mysteries, and that every choice carries consequences, both seen and unseen. As the camera of our imagination pans out, the village sleeps peacefully, the stars glimmer above, and Chisholm's soft breathing is the final promise. Life is fragile, love is powerful, and some stories are forever. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Share your thoughts, and let us know which story you want us to explore next. The world of the unknown is waiting, and your next adventure is just one click away.